sit down. See, look, the double chin went away. Oh, I'll let you start.
You got to do that model thing with the neck. Okay, so I say to the guy, if pro is the opposite of con, what's the opposite of progress?
Not progress.
Congress.
Congress. You got me.
Boom.
Boom, boom. I need to double check something. Make sure we have audio feed. That'd be.
That would have sucked the big one. Oh, as a matter of fact, I don't see any waveform. Not waveform.
No, we're good. All right.
Papa, can you hear me?
See, I've had a little bit of experience with this software.
Dude, I love it. It's so easy to use.
OBS. Oh, it's fantastic. I've had a little bit of.
Yep. We got audio.
We're good, and it's free.
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy thing, and it's super easy. Like, I was kind of intimidated when you were telling me, like, no, dude, super easy. You just click some buttons, and I'm like, oh, shit, there's a lot of buttons here. But you only need, like, 3 of them. Especially once you get the initial setup done. Which, and like I told you, dude, I don't even have any special equipment. I just use my laptop.
The laptop microphone?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Sounds decent, too.
Yeah, I know. Well, I tested it first, because I was like, I'm worried this is going to sound like shit.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about OBS, is you can literally just...
Well, literally all I do...
Record for a second and be like, oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, well, and literally all I do is I put Zoom at full screen, and then I just share my screen through OBS. Super easy.
It is.
So anyway, let's talk about guns.
Boom.
Specifically, the 2 background check bills that... Oh, my God, I knew I was going to do this. I can't remember. I think they cleared the House and are going to the Senate.
You need an ID to... get a gun, but not to vote. Just saying.
Well, that's partially true.
Yeah, I know some states.
So the funny thing is, at first I was like, when I was hearing that they were voting on these bills, I was like, oh God, what are they doing now? But then I actually like read what was in the bills, and I mean, one of them is actually pretty smart. The other one's kind of dumb because it doesn't go far enough, in my opinion.
I guess I haven't paid attention.
So
I didn't know they were.
It got overshadowed with the COVID bill.
Definitely.
They actually I know it passed the House because I was watching C-SPAN when they voted on the COVID relief bill, and then they immediately took up the gun control bills, as they call them. But they're not really gun control bills.
They're just stipulations on like.
Well, they have to do with background checks. So basically, just kind of a synopsis of what we're talking about here, if you're unaware. One of them closes what's known as the Charleston loophole. So basically, when you buy a gun through a dealer, you have to do a background check.
Yep.
Normally, that only takes minutes. However, occasionally, there's something in your record that's confusing and it doesn't come back instantly. The FBI, as it stands right now, the FBI has 3 days to conduct an investigation and get back to the dealer. If they don't, it's up to the dealer's discretion whether or not to sell the gun to you.
Hold that train of thought. Just for anyone out there who doesn't know, when you buy a gun online, when you go to pick it up from whatever dealer, you still have to pass a background check. FYI. Anyway, continue.
Is that true in every state?
Most.
I figured most, but that's the problem with gun laws.
I want to say that I'm pretty sure that's federal.
Well, but you got to be careful though, because like that's part of the problem is a lot of the gun laws are really confusing because they don't apply in every state.
Well, that's because everybody's changing it, changing up. It's like just keep it simple.
Well, I mean,
have your background checks and whatnot, but just keep it simple. I mean, honestly, I
think that is part of the problem. I think a lot of it is complicated by the fact that a lot of states create their own laws that are either redundant or... but then you end up in situations like, okay, so California has some of the strictest gun laws, period.
Chicago as well.
Arizona has pretty lax gun laws. In fact, I think Arizona at one time or another, it may still be this way, Arizona may still be like the most liberal state when it comes to, not left liberal, like liberalism,
yeah.
freedom.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Arizona, it's certainly one of, if not the most, and I think they even beat Texas in terms of how liberal they are with their gun laws. Like it's crazy. Like literally, to
But
buy
yet,
it.
they voted for Biden.
Well, again, like I said, that might have changed, but we'll see.
Anyway,
I mean, there are such a thing. Like they're a mythical creature now, but there are such a thing as Democrats that like to shoot stuff. You know, they exist.
well, and that's the thing. Like everybody, when they hear Democrat these days, they think of crazy leftists. But you got to think the majority are just regular, centrists. They're not really like
They
crazy
agree.
leftists.
They agree on many of the same things. They just have a different way of going about it.
Yeah, they're not insane. And you have a lot of Republicans like that too. But the only ones who are getting airtime are the
Are the
crazies.
loud, obnoxious ones.
Why is that? Because they get views.
Well, not only that, people tend to look at who yells the loudest. That's true of in a crowd. That's true of even in television, because you're gonna, it's what's the expression? The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
And if you're in Congress and you want to get your 15 minutes of fame, you just say, "We're gonna impeach that motherfucker."
Or you get a gotcha moment, but sometimes you put your foot in your mouth,
Yeah.
like that Green chick. I can never remember. I always want to say Sonequa Martin Green, but I know I'm wrong because Sonequa Martin Green is an actress and does not believe that the Parkland shooting was
What
an
is her
inside
name?
job
Green.
or a false flag.
I can't remember her name.
I don't know. She's insane.
She's the one who already filed articles of impeachment on was attempting to on Biden, and I'm like, can we just fucking stop?
For
Like,
real, yeah. Now because now it's a back and forth. Now it's a gotcha.
I mean,
what exactly are you gonna try to impeach Biden on as of right now?
You don't even have to worry about impeaching him. I mean, dude can barely walk upstairs. This second
It's
time,
funny.
second time.
It's funny. It's funny.
The
That's
second
the
video.
It's Gerald Ford all over again.
He's too old.
Except, well, and that's a true statement because Gerald Ford was just clumsy one time and it became a
Right.
thing. Like it's
Oh,
a thing that he was
jeez.
known for. He slipped and fell one time, but then Chevy Chase did that skit on Saturday Night Live, which is hysterical.
I've never seen it. I guess I'm
Oh God, it's so funny, and it's a skit that only Chevy Chase could do, because completely serious.
I feel bad for Biden. Like, I don't look at him and I'm like, oh, man, you're a fucking idiot or this. And I'm like, I feel legit bad for him because, like, I feel like did you ever watch the movie Weekend at Bernie's? That is exactly what is going on right now.
Did you see the meme that went around when Bernie was running for president?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love the internet.
It's a beautiful thing. It also takes up way too much of people's time. But it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So anyway, so this new bill, essentially, and see, that's the other thing, is they're saying they're going to close the loophole. What they're really doing is just extending it. They're extending it from 3 days to 10 days for the FBI to conduct an investigation.
Well, I mean, that kind of helps because 3 days is kind of a, like, you got to,
Yeah, but
how many are
okay,
coming
so
in?
here's my deal.
Damn chocolate bar.
Well, I look at it this way. Like, to me, that number is arbitrary. If the FBI feels that an investigation is warranted, then I'm sorry, your ass has to wait. Period. Now, and full disclosure, I'm gonna piss off both sides tonight.
I'm already pissed. No, I'm just kidding.
No, because there are people, and they make a legitimate claim. It's like, well, what about what about in the case of a single mother whose baby daddy or whoever like was in prison and is now out of prison, like she needs protection now. And it's like, well, but let's think about it this way.
She had plenty of time knowing when he was going to get out.
Maybe not. Maybe there was
Anyway,
something.
let's
Well,
finish
like
your
because
thought.
no, that actually came up a couple of times when COVID hit, because a lot of people got released early because of
Oh, that's right.
things like that. Now, but here's the thing, and to quote Ben Shapiro, you cannot take a single incident and base policy on it.
That's true.
There are ways, and again, I don't have all the answers, but I think that if we would approach this argument like sane people on both sides, fuck you, buddy. We can look at a situation like that and say, okay, what can we do to protect those instances? Like, surely but here's the other thing is, you cannot craft a perfect legislation that covers every single base. You have to look at what happens the majority of the time, and the fact of the matter is, I think something along the lines of like 97% of those background checks happen in minutes.
I do not feel for those people writing bills.
Oh no, I don't either.
Oof. But
Um,
yeah.
but anyway, and then the other one, it literally just expands background checks to all purchases, period, which would close the gun show loophole. Now they
All purchases, does it include ammo?
no, just to purchase the firearm.
Okay, just checking.
Now there are exclusions in the form of a relative can still give you a gift, and that doesn't require a background check. So like your dad can still buy you give you your first gun or whatever.
But like they buy it from the store and then bring it home, but the thing is they'd have to pass a background check.
Correct.
And if they plan on intending on gifting it, though, it's like that's a big one.
Well, but there you go. There's kind of like, and there are already laws against, so, and this specifies relatives. And there are laws on the books already against buying a firearm for the sole purpose of giving it to someone who cannot legally buy a firearm.
Okay, so obviously it would have to be somebody who legally can possess one.
Correct.
And if there's anyone in the house who obviously has a, well, that's the thing, though. It's like when they're doing those background checks, do they ask who's in the household or whatnot?
It's purely based on if you, it's just a background check.
Okay.
Like if you got a criminal record, if you have a felony record, because you can still buy a firearm in most states. I believe in all states, but I might be wrong on the particular. You can still purchase a firearm if you have a misdemeanor.
Mental illness?
They're expanding. They're trying to expand that, but again, that's a really hard one to.
Oh yeah, that's damn near impossible. I mean, unless they have like a on their record, but it's like, you know.
Precisely, yeah. I mean, like in a perfect world, yeah, you would get a psych profile done, but that's just not realistic.
Are you drinking orange juice?
No, dude, this is a mango
smoothie,
something or other smoothie.
Oh,
what the hell is it?
At first, I was like, there's something wrong with your orange juice. It's thick. That's pulp.
Only the thick. God damn it! It's a mango pineapple smoothie.
Oh, okay.
It's new and it is delicious.
Sorry, I have ADD plus ADHD, so it's like, oh, look at that bat. Oh, well, wait a minute. There's a bat in here. It's Batman. I'm the bat.
So anyway, the expanded background checks exclude gifts from relatives, or it says imminent danger. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing it would be one of those cases where it's like, hey, my ex tried to fucking kill me before he went to prison, and now he's out.
I need a gun.
Kind of need a gun. So anyway, and then the other nice thing I liked about that particular bill is it prohibits a national gun registry. Like it says, nope, not happening. So those are the two bills, and I don't think they're unreasonable. I don't really understand what the debate is. Now, there are some Republicans.
I like Jorgensen's take on the Second Amendment.
Which is? For the viewers.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, so basically her view was government's out of it, and it's up to the discretion of the shop owner. But hold on. I will say this though: most shop owners who have been on like news or whatnot, most of them are like, we're extremely picky about who we sell to anyway, because the thing is, if that gun is sold and then obviously something happens, they're not gonna directly get in trouble, but people are gonna try to blame them because of how today's cancel culture is. So
yeah, but so like the whole thing about that though is like if that's how the law works, I can see overnight a bunch of crooked, criminally involved motherfuckers.
Absolutely.
Like
I said, I like it. I don't say it's gonna work.
See, like I said, we're gonna piss everybody off because I've already taken shots at Republicans, and now the Libertarians are gonna be mad.
Well, that's the thing is like. A lot of the libertarians, I like most of their stances, but yet
the thing of it is, these things can kill people. This is not like a philosophical battle where it's like my way is better than your way. It's like no, if you do this wrong, people die.
Yeah, but the only thing is though, most horrific gun deaths in the United States, I would personally say I'm definitely not quoting this, and I'm pretty sure it's probably wrong. But I don't believe they possess the firearm legally. So the thing is, you can make all the laws you want, but at the end of the day,
therein
they're
lies
still
another
going to
problem.
get it.
And that's why I believe it's important to have not restrictions, but gun purchasing laws and guidelines that make sense, that don't infringe on a law-abiding citizen's right to.
Well, what do you think of registry per gun with serials?
I don't like the idea of a registry, and I'll tell you why. And again, this is probably never going to happen, and I hope it never does.
I'm going to say I agree with you already on that. So
well, but here's the reason why I can see it. So let's say hypothetically, and I'll make people on the left happy. Let's use this example because I'm sure you can. So let's say that Donald Trump wakes up one morning and says, "You know what? Somebody told me that a bunch of Democrats are hoarding guns, a bunch of lefties, the communists, all of them, they're hoarding guns, and I think they're going to try something." So in the event that there was a national gun registry, all you would have to do is look at that registry and you know who owns what. And then here's a little bit more realistic. Let's say there was a federal gun registry, or any kind of gun registry, where it tells you
brought him over me, you asshole. Damn that.
Who has a gun, what kind of gun it is, when they bought, like all that information, and it gets hacked.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
So what that does, though, is let's say, and then obviously the hacker's not going to do this, but they can sell this information. So let's say, somebody, a group of, home invader, burglars, basically, they want to check and see which homes on a certain block own firearms. Purchase that hacked registry information, okay, this house has guns, this house has guns, but this house doesn't, and this house doesn't. Guess which houses they're going to go to?
Exactly.
The ones that don't have guns.
Cheese
is money.
Oh, well, we got a comment. So I was trying to get up here and go. What'd he say? He said, yes, it does. I think you probably commented a minute ago, so we probably lost it a bit. Darn it.
We require context.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you are in the
and then
chats or whatnot,
please give us context because we're rolling.
Yeah.
And then you get to the more Alex Jones territory. But let's say your government. But here's the thing: it could happen. It's possible, and if it's possible, it needs to be considered, no matter how unlikely. Because in 100 years, it might be very likely. But if there's a national gun registry and the government decides to go all 1984 on our asses.
Oh man, they
know who's
exactly
got guns. You're gonna have the freaking army rolling up.
Exactly. And then Trogdor comes in the night.
And then when Trogdor comes, you can actually defend your homestead.
Yes.
And your thatched roof cottages.
And Homestar Runner.
The Wombat. There's like one person who will watch this video.
Bane. Yeah, everybody's like, what the fuck is that?
Is it even still up?
It is.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
I watched Trogdor the Burninator the other day because I was like, it's not on. I'm pretty sure they still have their website, but it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah. I was gonna say, surely they're not still making new content.
Got an email. Hope it's from a female. Man, that stuff. I tell you what. That I started watching that. I was like, that's childhood right there.
Oh man.
It was only 15 years ago.
How many times did we draw Trogdor?
I never did.
Oh, let's give him a beefy arm on the back.
First, you start with an S. S stands for sucks. Trash that. Anyway. We don't know what we're doing. No, I'm just kidding.
So I'm going to jump around because I made a bunch of notes here. But I guess kind of what I want to encompass tonight is the idea that both sides are looking at this wrong. It's become an overly politicized issue that really doesn't need to be politicized. Because everybody's talking about the differences and nobody's talking about what everybody agrees on. I think if we started where we agree, we can come to an understanding, make some compromises. But before we do that, we need to address that elephant, not the Republican elephant, but the elephant in the room that is the Second Amendment and the debate that always goes around that. So, as every gun owner probably already knows, I didn't write it down, and I forgot to bring in my Constitution.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I know it. I just don't want to get like one word wrong.
Yeah, don't get any words.
Okay,
wrong.
I'm gonna try this, and then I'm gonna test with a well-regulated militia being essential for the preservation of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Impressive.
Well, I don't know if I'm exactly right, but
Let's see.
like I said, I know what it is, but a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. I was close enough. So there's always this debate coming from the left that says, well, that applies to the militia. And it's like, okay, so let's turn on some Ben Shapiro here. Let's play their game. So first, let's define what militia actually means. Now, here's the funny thing. The definition has actually changed from when the Constitution was written to now.
There are many ones that have changed, but keep going.
So, in colonial America, when the Constitution was drafted, a militia, and this is the actual definition provided by the dictionaries at the time, a militia in colonial America, all able-bodied men of a certain age are members of the militia. Literally. You can go to an area, your state would have a militia which basically consisted, it's kind of like how the Selective Service Act is now, except they'd be like, hey, we need you. Come on up. And depending on the state's laws, you may or may not be punished for not showing up. Or you might have exemptions because obviously if you're not able-bodied, you're not expected to show up. But anyway, then they had the Militia Act of 1909 that strictly defines. There are actually two types of militias according to this law. There's the organized militia, which consists of state defense forces, National Guard, and naval militia. So basically the reserves and the National Guard. Those are the examples they've been. And then you have unorganized militia, which is every able-bodied man of at least 17 to 45 years that are not a member of an organized militia.
Holy shit, how many definitions are there?
Well, that's it. But then they had the Selective Service Act, which kind of made the militia a moot point because they could just institute a draft.
Right. Okay. Jeez.
So, when you're looking at the Second Amendment, you have to consider one of my favorite terms ever. You have to consider the Sitz im Leben, the situation in life at the time the document was written. So, if we take that definition, and not even getting into how the sentence is phrased, just looking at the definition of militia. The word militia pretty much means everybody who's a dude.
I'm a dude.
I mean, able-bodied men. He's a dude.
She's a dude. We're all dudes.
We're all dudes.
Hey, I am the Senate.
Okay, so now let's look at the other part. Which, shame on the founders because they phrase that sentence really, really weird. Because they bring up militia, but they don't actually finish the thought. It's actually a run-on sentence. Like it's too.
What's up, Jason?
It's an incomplete thought coupled with a rule.
Yeah.
And everybody on, the gun control side, the pro-gun control side, gets stuck on the militia part. But let's do one of my favorite things, and let's take all the mention of militia out. Because it doesn't actually make a statement. It's an incomplete sentence. Because if you cut it in half, it's a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. It's not even a sentence. It doesn't make sense on its own.
This does not make sense.
It's like, what about the militia? Fuck it. It doesn't matter. So let's look at the actual complete sentence. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, let's unpack that one. The right of the people. Now, again, some people on the left will make the case, and there's basis for this. They'll make the case that by people, they mean, adult white men. However, if we're looking, and there's a case for that. Historically, there's precedent. But let's move that aside for right now and look at it purely and how the document is written. Elsewhere in the Constitution, the phrase "the people," as it reads, pretty much everywhere else, encompasses everyone. So the First Amendment, for example, and the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment all use the phrase "the people," and those rights apply to everyone. Nobody disputes that. In fact, our justice system is based on the Fourth and Fifth Amendments. Who the hell is calling me? Anyway.
Yeah, I had to explain that to someone tonight. The difference, they got amendments confused. Which a lot of people
It's easy to do.
Oh, yeah. It's not very hard at all.
But so my point here is, if the phrase "the people" everywhere else in the Constitution applies to everyone, then the Second Amendment is no different.
No.
Because it is just one of 26 amendments.
Yes.
And that's not even counting the rest of the Constitution. That's just the amendments. So if we look at it from that angle, it's pretty clear. Now we have to consider what constitutes arms. Well, arms is just another way of saying weapons, and people make the argument, well, yeah, but back in the day, they just had muskets. It's like, well, yeah, you've got a point. I don't think anybody at the time would have considered the possibility of the absolute death machines that exist, after at the time and after of the First World War. The scale of the horror of that war was primarily because it was a mixture of old world tactics with new technology, and they did not go together. Back then it wasn't uncommon to literally just jump out the trench and run at people because the rate of fire just wasn't enough to overwhelm those kinds of numbers.
Yeah, because they shoot and they're.
Well, even a single action semi-automatic weapon, the rate of fire is nowhere near an automatic machine gun. It's just not there.
No.
But after the Battle of the Somme, we kind of found out, oh shit,
there's power.
This thing is.
Are you popular tonight or what?
No, the damn thing keeps vibrating, but there's no friggin'.
Oh, I turned that shit off.
Yeah, I know I should have, but anyway.
Your battery. So
yeah,
fast.
That's a good point. Anywho. So yeah, I'll give you that. There's an argument that can be made, but here's the thing. The legal precedent, at least in contract law, is that ambiguity in a piece of writing benefits the party that did not write it. So in this case, if you're using contract law as the standard, which this is probably a stretch, but if you treat the Constitution as a contract, then arms can literally mean whatever the fuck you want. If it's a weapon, you can have it. Now, again, that's absurd.
Bear arms.
But to bear arms. So I think we... Do you remember that show? It only had one season, That's My Bush?
No.
It was... Okay, so it was a sitcom right after George W. had gotten elected.
Oh my gosh.
And to show you how old this argument is, and it was nothing new when George W. was first elected in 2001. There's an episode... And it's completely absurd, but it's a gun control episode. But a bear gets in the White House and takes a gun. It's hilarious. I've tried to find it on YouTube and I can't find it. But anyway, the bear starts unloading rounds. Now, obviously, he's not like aiming; it's a bear. But anyway, they subdue the bear. The bear gets back to the zoo or whatever. And then I think it's supposed to be Colin Powell, but I don't remember who it's supposed to be. But anyway, he's got the gun and he comes up to the president. He's like, "Well, I think this has taught us all a valuable lesson." What's that? It's like, we absolutely have the right to bear arms, but nobody should have the right to arm bears.
Damn it.
I think I'm more confused now that I tried to unpack the Second Amendment.
Well, the thing is, it's speculation because I mean, it's only words. I mean, it's how people interpret it, and everybody interprets. Not everybody interprets anything the same.
Well, and the other part, the Second Amendment is an interesting one because it seems to be the only real amendment that's not treated. It's the black sheep of the amendments.
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, all the other amendments are treated like,
and just gonna say this, it's like legit the most important because it's literally fighting from tyranny from your government. Come on.
I still think the First Amendment's the most important one, but
Oh, I
you can
absolutely
make
agree.
but you can make the case, and I think you're right, that the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment.
Oh, that's hate speech.
No.
No, what you're saying. Just kidding.
No.
No.
No, no, no.
That's how you argue hate speech. No.
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 No. You're a Nazi.
Nazi.
I was totally going somewhere, and then you got me.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
So the Second Amendment is kind of treated like the black sheep of the amendments.
Yeah.
So there's kind of an unspoken but understood. Well, it's not unspoken, but there's an understood concept of how the Constitution works in the United States, how rights work in the United States, and it is that these are not given to you by the government. These are yours, and it's the government's job to protect those rights from being infringed by the government or other government parties. Except for the Second Amendment. For those that oppose it, because they seem a lot of, I shouldn't say they encompasses everyone, but there are a lot of people on the pro-gun controlled side that act like, well, the government gives you the right to bear arms and they should take it away. It's like, that's not how the Constitution works.
No.
But now back to my original point, I say let's start on some stuff we can agree on. And getting very broad here, I think we can all agree that, innocent people being killed is not a good thing.
No.
Okay, so how do we stop that from happening?
You work on the people because the guns don't kill anyone.
Well, I'm going to deconstruct the popular one because
I mean, the guns do kill, but not by themselves.
No, a gun on a table is...
They don't just sprout fucking legs and just hop up, so we have a people problem.
Yeah, we very much have a people problem. But here's the thing, though. So there's arguments that say, and there's probably some truth to this, just statistically speaking, if there are no guns, then you won't have gun deaths. And I'm not saying you won't have no gun death. That's absurd, because criminals will get guns, just like they do in other countries that have very strict gun laws.
England.
Well, actually, gun violence is fairly rare.
Yeah, but
Where
knife violence increased.
Well, right. So basically, if bad people want to do bad things, they will find a way. However, I will say it is a lot harder to kill 50 people with a knife.
Shh.
Like, somebody will fuck you up.
Talk
before.
to Edward Scissorhands, Nuka.
My point being, and I mean, like, here's the thing though. Yeah, it's you probably aren't going to see too many mass stabbings. You're going to see a couple people get
because they're subdued before they.
Yeah, it's like it's much easier to, because obviously there's a distance issue, unless you're really good at throwing knives.
Oh man!
But they don't have automatic knife throwers. Like once you're out, like you can't just slap in a new clip.
They have those. What was it? Do you remember the first Punisher movie?
No.
Remember the guy? Oh, okay. Well, dude, just like, you dumb son of a bitch, you brought a knife to a gunfight, and the dude's like standing above him. He's not anywhere near him to stab him. He literally just presses the thing, and the knife shoots out right through his throat. Oh, it's awesome.
Speaking of which, there's an awesome. I wish I could remember the name of the channel, but it's this engineer that makes weapons out of wood, and he made an automatic crossbow, like legit automatic firing crossbow, and it's fucking awesome.
That's terrifying.
I know, right? It is. It's truly terrifying. It's truly terrifying to watch.
Our arrows will blot out the sun.
Then we will fight in the shade.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I believe the direct, obviously it was in Greek, but I think the direct translation was so much the better, we'll have our fight in the shade.
Is this all you got? Perhaps we should have marched our women up here.
So, not to get off on a tangent, but I'm actually a really big fan of Laconian wit, and this somewhat, because this right here is an example of Laconian wit. So, okay, we're going to go on another history tangent.
This stuff.
So, Okay, so we're gonna do two nerdy things. So in the Greek alphabet, this guy right here, Lambe, is the equivalent to L, and the Spartans,
Harambe? I
Lambe.
heard you
Oh, not
understand me.
Harambe. The Spartans had this letter on their shields, which people get confused. They're like, why did the Spartans have an L on their shields? I'll tell you why. Because Sparta was the city, but the region was called Laconia.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where we get
I
laconic
should
wit.
know this.
No, it's not common knowledge because everybody says Sparta.
Oh.
So it's kind of, but anyway,
This is what is it?
Laconia.
Laconia.
It doesn't have the same ring to it. And again, Sparta is the city. So Sparta is basically, it's not the capital, but I mean, I guess it kind of is. Not by today's standards, but I guess you would say that Sparta was the capital of the Laconian region. But anyway,
Gotcha.
so that's why they had the lambe on their shields. Now, Laconian wit comes from, and they were taught this. This is part of, allegedly, this is part of a Spartan's training. So Laconian wit is like this very dry, passive-aggressive style of speech, I guess. But it's more like it's not so much funny as it is like, oh, damn, like they were experts at burning people.
It was more like,
But saying as few words as possible. So, for example, this phrase, Malon Labe, literally means come and take, but the equivalent would be come and take them in regards to weapons. So, the Battle of Thermopylae, the Persians tell King Leonidas and the Spartans in the Greek Confederation, because it wasn't just 300 Spartans, it was 300 Spartans and about 7,000 other Greeks. Let's not give them too much credit. It says, lay down your weapons. And then the Spartan messenger sent back, Malon Labe, come and take them.
come and take them.
And then the other example of our arrows will blot out the sun, so much the better, we will fight in the shade. One famous Spartan general was sent to, because the Spartans often were hired as consultants, military consultants, and one, I want to say it was Thebes or Corinth, I can't remember which, but a city hired a Spartan general to come and inspect their basically their walls, their defenses. And after they finished touring the city, they asked him, it's like, well, what do you think? And he says, these are very fine quarters for women. Because the running joke was that Sparta didn't have any walls.
Oh.
And Sparta, like, as far as we can tell, Sparta didn't have any walls.
No, because they were trained up.
Well, I want to say this was Leonidas again, but it might have been another Spartan king. I'm totally fucking this up tonight.
By the way, it's like the coolest name ever.
Yeah, I know, and I know I'm pronouncing it wrong because a lot of people say no, it's pronounced Leonidas, but it's like maybe, but Leonidas sounds better. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it.
I like Leonidas.
Tomato, Leonidas,
Leonidas.
Leonidas.
I've heard Leonidas, Leonidas, Leonidas.
Leonidas. Like I'm trying to say something that's naughty. Anyway.
I think it's actually Leonidas, if we're getting super technical.
Leonidas.
But I'm not.
That sounds bad.
I'd have to see it written in Greek and look at my chart to know for sure. But anyway.
This is not for kids.
Trying to think of any of there. So anyway, Spartan King is asked, where are your walls? And then he points to the soldiers and say, these are Sparta's walls. It's like Sparta didn't really... And Sparta had much more to worry about from within than they did from outside, because their reputation pretty much kept too many people from trying to invade them, but they were constantly at risk of slave revolts.
Oh yeah, well, I guarantee it.
Well, their entire economy was based on... Yeah, but anyway, we're not going to get into that because we're supposed to be talking about guns. But I find it very interesting that this phrase has become kind of a... It's been co-opted by people who are anti-gun control laws, and it's kind of like not exactly the same thing, but I mean, because I'm sorry, but if they come to take your guns, like, you're gonna lose. Like, if the U.S. government really comes for your guns, you will lose because they have much cooler guns than you do.
That is, unless they know about it and everybody comes together, but.
Well, right,
but
but
they're not going to let you know about it.
Well, that's the other thing is they're not going to come out in full force. They're going to do it slowly.
No, there actually was a Fuck Biden. Somebody put fuck Biden in the comments. I no, he's old.
No, I'd rather not.
But
Not into dudes.
I'm pretty sure this is Biden. My eyes are not so good. I don't want to pop up my phone. Anyway, so where's it going?
I totally lost my.
did too.
I'm
That
sorry.
makes
Somebody
sense.
said. Somebody
Fuck
said.
Biden.
Somebody brought up Sparta, and I'm just like, history nerd. Bring up Sparta or what?
Spartans.
I swear, if you bring up Sparta or Caesar, I just go on a fucking rampage.
Et tu, Brute?
Dude, Caesar was a fucking badass, and I don't care what you say. I defy you to name one person who influenced history more. One person influenced the entire world more than that man. You can't do it. This person doesn't exist.
Hold on. What's his name? He had he was like what, 4th century, 5th century?
I don't know who you're talking
Yeah, I know, right? He was in the 5th century. You know who I'm talking about. Man, what is his name? South Park did a thing about him, tear down my shitty wall. What is his name? Khan?
Oh, Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan. Now the thing is, hold on. Let me finish. You know how many wives that dude had?
I know that he had enough children.
Now, when you say influence, obviously I know what you mean, and yeah, I'll agree. I'm talking like bloodline. That dude spread his bloodline so far.
8%. I think the figure is 8% of the current population of Asia has some form of his genetics in their DNA.
Wild.
And that's I think that was as of 2019. That figure, like, that is ridiculous.
I agree.
I think they estimated he had somewhere around 800 known children. 800 known, and that's not counting, the.
Have you seen Dewey Cox?
Yes.
That's just like him at the end of the movie. He's Genghis Khan. I was gonna say Jenga.
Oh, technically it is Genghis Khan, but.
Genghis. Jingle bells.
Well, it was actually opposite. Custody is being forced upon me.
I don't think it should be forced upon you.
I actually don't want custody.
All right, let's.
Well, no, I'll finish my Caesar point. But
my bad.
Think about it though. Like, obviously, there's the influence of Rome. That's why not most, but think about it. It spawned several languages, and influenced others. So Latin directly spawned Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian. I know I'm forgetting more. But anyway, so 5 major world languages that spread throughout, the world in some capacity or another. Influenced German, which then and actually influenced English as well. I mean, and then we still use this calendar to this day. It is the Julian calendar, which, yes, he based it off Egypt, but he tweaked it, made it even more precise. There's a fucking month named after him and his adopted nephew, who was emperor after him. I mean, the title of the German Kaiser and Russian Tsar were both plays or translations of the word Caesar from Latin to the various regional languages. And, like, inspired a work of Shakespeare. Need I go on? Like, things that Caesar did directly influence the world even to this day. And the fucker almost died so many times before he actually died. So many times. Like, I always wonder how many close calls he had in Gaul and Britain, because they had a very close call in Britain. Like, they almost got slaughtered. And just the sheer badassery of that dude. Like, I gotta believe some of it's bullshit, but then, like, the sources are so good.
It's like, was he as fat as they portrayed him in the movies?
That's the crazy thing, is they have busts. Like, they know what the dude looked like, because they have busts and artwork that were created during his time. Like, they know what the fucker looked like. He was not very good looking. Maybe he was by Roman standards. I mean, these were people who thought that unibrows were hot as fuck, but that's legit. Like, Roman women used to paint on, if they didn't have one, they used to paint on using like primitive makeup, they would paint a unibrow on.
No, not her. She got 2 eyebrows.
No, she's not Roman enough.
That almost sounds like you're making an accent for a woman. She's not Roman. General Patton was a good leader.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about leadership skill. Although you're
I
right.
think he mentioned that earlier. I didn't see that.
Oh, I'm just talking about
Alright.
sheer influence. And actually, Patton got into some trouble even in his time because he slapped a kid. Like literally slapped a kid who had PTSD, but they didn't know about PTSD at the time. And Patton was a notorious hard ass.
Walk it off.
I think the
kids,
exact
poor shit.
phrase was "stop being a coward," and he slapped a kid in the face. But he got in trouble for that. He didn't get demoted. He got transferred. I can't remember. So they brought him back because they needed him for the offensive. But
Oh, we got a new one. Who is that?
I'm liking the engagement with the chat.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, there it went.
I can't read it. Oh.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay, but so fair point. But here's the thing about Jesus. Probably wouldn't have existed in the same way in terms of like where he was born and how he influenced. Because you got to remember, Judea at the time was a Roman province.
Oh, okay. Now I get where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that story, and here's the other thing. So you bring up Jesus, the first organized Christian church, the Catholic Church, is the Roman Catholic Church. And its hierarchical structure is based on the Roman government that Caesar partially helped create.
Oh, and by the way, we do have a tad delay, so if we don't answer it right away, it's just because we're not getting it right away. So.
Oh, so here's another fun fact. So the Pope is sometimes known as the Pontiff. This comes from the Roman office of Pontifex Maximus, which Caesar held, and it was his job. He was basically the highest religious authority.
Mm-hmm.
So he was basically the high priest of the Roman pantheon, and it was actually his job to straighten the calendar out. So that's why we have the Julian calendar. Because he was elected to the office and he neglected it for a decade. And then he came back and he's like, I got to do this. Because, I mean, like, it's not an understatement. The entire Roman society was in disarray because the calendar was just in shambles. And, like, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but it really was. It was a fucking fiasco.
Dude, it is incredible how much you know about all this.
I just love this shit.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with knowing history. I apparently don't read up enough on it. Too much.
I'm just a Julius Caesar nerd. I just can't stop.
That's okay.
So anyway,
Point made.
I'm open to debate. Like,
oh, absolutely. Anyone out
legit.
there.
Like, I just cannot, in my mind's eye, think of anybody that influenced the world more than Julius Caesar. As far as one person, like, I'm sure there are groups. Sure,
Positive or negative?
either.
Well, I'll get back to you on that. I don't want to mention name because, like, yeah, Julius Caesar. Yeah. Like, you know, you hear his name, you know, you're like, okay, so, yeah, I know who that is. But, like, when you hear negative influence, like Hitler, anyone.
Yeah, but historically speaking, Hitler was kind of a flash in the pan, because he wasn't. I mean, he was around for.
I mean, you know, if you have somebody who doesn't know Greek history or even history and they don't know who Julius
Well,
Caesar
right,
is,
but here's the other
I feel
thing.
like they're gonna know who
Here's the
Hitler
other
is.
thing you have to consider in terms of society. Once Hitler was taken out, the world went pretty much back to normal. Obviously, minus the many people who needlessly were killed. The society at large pretty much went back to normal, with the exception of the explosion of communism. But I don't think that had much to do with Hitler. I think that was coming anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, Hitler fast-tracked it.
Bastard.
But I mean, you look at what Caesar did, and Caesar literally changed the Roman Republic into an empire. And not only that, he had some of the largest conquests, period. Completely conquered Gaul, which had never been done before by any Roman general ever. He helped, and I'm going to stop because we're supposed to be talking about gun control.
It's okay. Tangents are made.
I told
for
you.
us.
You bring up Caesar, and I just go, ugh.
All right. Jason said, "I'm a relative of Julius Caesar. His mom has the same last name as me. I looked it up on History.com. I wouldn't trust that. Not saying you're wrong, but get a
Who knows? Get a DNA test.
done. Dude, I'm gonna get one done, and I'm gonna read it on here. I think we should do that.
I'm really.
That would be really
I was
cool.
so disappointed with
I don't
mine.
know who I am. Oh, you've already had one?
Yeah, I was
I'm
really
a mutt,
disappointed.
definitely. I'm from 15 different thousand countries.
Apparently, I'm 20% Jewish. No, 12%, not 20.
That makes so much sense.
I'm 20% Scottish.
That's why
Apparently,
you were able to do such a good. Oh no.
I'm terrible at math.
No.
Oh, a good Ben Shapiro.
Damn it! Don't give it away.
That was really Ben. He was
Still
actually here.
I know, right? I mean,
That's why we're in a bunker now, because we just invited the hate.
yeah. What is it? Look it up. Last name, gotta Google it.
Google it. I'll do it later.
Google it.
We should have Chank on.
Second. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Chank and Tucker.
Or Crowder.
Oh.
Google it.
Who debated Chank and absolutely? Oh, it was Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro did,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
the debate on
fantastic.
healthcare. It was a good debate. Because Chank did make some really good points.
Yeah,
And it wasn't, I don't think it ever got uncivil.
He's just way too out there.
Yeah,
I don't feel like he's a bad guy. I feel like his nephew's a little shit.
Oh, God, let's not even get
Hassan? Is it?
Hassan Piker.
Hassan, not Hassan. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little shit.
Yeah.
I visited, I'm not even on Twitter. I can't bring myself to be on Twitter,
When
but
the
I,
dude said we deserve 9/11, I was like, dude, you're such a piece of shit.
yeah, it's like, okay, then go back to fucking Turkey. Actually,
Turkey.
well, no,
Is he
because
from
they're,
Turkey? That's why they're called.
I don't know if their parents, I don't know if their parents immigrated or if they did, but I'm sorry, that sounded really fucking racist, and I did not
Did.
mean it to.
It was not. I don't think I've ever felt a racist. About
No,
it.
you know what though, like
That
I
sounds
do.
worse. I said I've never felt a racist bone in your body.
I hope not.
I'm not.
Nope, I apologize for that. That was a poor choice of words that was unintentional. But basically, if you, what I'm trying to get at is, if you hate the United States so much, then there are other countries you can go to and live.
You know, like most leftists, when they say that, it's like, why does they always say that? If you hate this country, why do you always tell us to leave? And I'm like, because it's true.
I'm still
Like,
waiting on the busloads to go to Canada.
If you hate, Canada actually left. I'm not gonna get off on this too crazy, but the vaccine, they actually paused a maker. I can't remember who the maker was. They paused it because it was what was it doing? Blood clots in young people.
That was happening in Europe too.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah, well, and I would have paused it if I were them. Fortunately,
yeah.
that's not a vaccine that was being distributed here.
Oh no.
Was it Procter? I think it was the Procter and Gamble one.
AstraZeneca? That's what.
That's right. That's right.
Man, I just saw it today, so I was like, if I don't know this, I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot.
So anyway,
Google it.
Google it.
God.
I'm gonna circle back. I will look that up
Hey.
though. What?
Listen here, Jen. I'll circle back.
I will circle back. I will Google that because I'm interested. If we verify that, we should have him on as a real life descendant of Caesar.
Oh yeah.
You
Hey,
can-
we're gonna get you a crown.
We can talk about it. No, we give him olive leaves.
If you're lying, you know what's gonna happen.
We'll feed you the lions in the Coliseum.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Anyway, back to guns.
So what I was getting ready to talk about is framing the argument, or framing the problem, which I think, first of all, if it were an easy problem to solve, it wouldn't be this contentious, because if it was a simple problem, we would have a simple solution. So you got to go into it already understanding that it's going to be complicated. But then the other thing is, we have to understand the problem, and I think that's the biggest thing. That I will say, the left, trying to frame, this is my left, but I think it's the screen's right. So the left gets this wrong more often than the right does, because people on the right, or the gun owners on the right, tend to know their stuff, And a lot of people on the gun control, the pro gun control side, don't really know all that much about guns. So before we go into that, I want to ask you: Have you ever, what have you shot before?
I've never shot anything BB gun.
Really?
Never. I want to. I just and the thing is, I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm pro
Oh, dude,
gun.
they're so much fun.
I've never had the time or just I don't know. I'm not afraid of them.
They are so much fun.
And they're expensive.
Yeah, they are. They're very expensive. Very, very expensive.
And I have kids, which is a good reason to have protection. So.
But it's a good reason to have a really good safe that is. Yeah.
Because that's definitely it's like if you have guns, it's like come on, man.
Well, me personally, I think that should be up for discussion in terms of being a law.
Oh yeah. You have to buy a safe.
Yeah, like it's a companion purchase.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
don't know how you would enforce that. I'd be open. Like if I were drafting,
if you have
no, period.
Period.
I think if you buy firearms, you should have them locked. Because here's the thing: even in the event of a home invasion, like you don't want those things out.
Yeah, they
or you also don't want them to be stolen.
Or you have a what do they call that? A safe room? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, safe room. I mean, that would qualify as a safe. Just because you can walk in, it doesn't mean it's not.
What do they call that? Like
panic room?
Panic room. Thank you. I mean, that would be hilarious. But that's where everything goes, and it's under a keypad, and like, you know, sci-fi.
Well, I mean, look at it this way: we actually have the technology for retinal scans now.
We have the technology.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, we do. Like your phone, you can program your phone to.
Could you imagine looking at your gun and unlocking it with your eyeball in order to?
Well, they already have. They have the technology that. I've seen in prototypes. I don't think they're widely available, but they have the kind that identifies you based on your like fingerprint or whatever.
I didn't see that. Anyway,
what?
Aurelie, I can't say that.
Aurelie Cotta.
That's actually I am gonna look that up.
I am gonna look it up.
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to get off the deep.
Right, so we gotta frame the issue. I asked you what you had shot, so.
Oh yeah. BB gun.
I've shot.
Paintball gun.
Oh yeah, paintball gun.
I shot you. No.
Yeah.
I shot Jordan.
You shot. Somebody shot you in the face. It wasn't me though. I heard about it. I didn't see it.
That was Jordan. I was in a tree.
Yeah.
We were in a tree and I was fumbling around with my paintballs and I accidentally dropped them and he shot by accident and shot me in the face with a paintball. And so when we were walking back to our homes, he dropped his paintballs on the ground and was scrambling to pick them up. And I just aimed real slowly and boom, shot him right in the hand.
Ooh.
He's like, oh, what the fuck? It's like, that's for shooting me in the face. He's like, I didn't mean to. I was like, I didn't mean to shoot you in the hand either.
You know what that asshole did to me too?
What?
You were there. We were all riding our bikes real late at night, and there was way too many of us.
What did he do to your bike?
He was in front of me, and he didn't do it on purpose, but it was actually funny in hindsight, because what happened was he was crossing over, but he was crossing over in front of me, but he didn't realize how close we were.
I swear he said sorry, Boger.
He did right before he hit my, because I mean he was too far gone. He couldn't correct, and I didn't know what he was talking about. He just looks back, and goes, "Sorry, Boger," and I'm like, "What?" And then before I know it, I'm flying forward. I scraped the shit on my elbow and my chin, and my knee was just jacked. But I remember laughing because, like, I mean, it hurt obviously, but like I remember laughing because it was so funny. He's just like, "Sorry."
Anyway, so yeah, that's all I've shot.
I've shot a shotgun. I've shot various rifles. I don't remember the kind. I do know I've shot an AR-15 and an AR-10, and I've shot a Tommy gun. That was fun as fuck.
Did you do the laugh?
No, I didn't do the laugh. I mean, I probably was laughing, not gonna lie. I know I had a smile on my face. It was a lot of fun.
George Nelson, or Jesus saves, George Nelson
withdraws.
That's what, anytime I hear, here's my Tommy gun, coppers.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I realized I've never fired a handgun before.
Oh.
Like, I've never fired a pistol. I came close once, but I ended up not shooting it.
Well, I think we should try to.
I
don't think we could do it live. I'm pretty sure
we could record it, though.
Yeah, all right.
I got my buddy Joe. He's got a range on his property. I've got a standing invite to go up there.
I've never shot a gun, so stay tuned.
Joe's a competitive shooter, and he's extremely good.
Okay, all right.
So I've got a standing invite to go up there and just shoot.
Is it his property or is it a
It's his
range?
property, but he's got a range on his property.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
All right. All right.
those are the best kind too, because like if you've, especially if you shot before and you don't like, because obviously there are rules that you obey, whether it's like a privately owned range or not. And he's, like I said, he's a competitive and he's a judge, so like he's all about the safety, which you should be. There's absolutely no reason. I actually love watching. I've seen guys get just chewed out on the range for doing stupid, and it's not that stupid, but it's like, you know better.
Well, I mean, you're there shooting a gun that can kill someone. So.
Exactly. At the very least, injure.
Yeah, I agree. So
there's that video that goes around every once in a while on Facebook. That's a freaking idiot. He's in a gun range and he's taking a selfie with the gun, which is kind of like.
Yeah, I get it.
It's frowned upon, but it's not like. It's a loaded firearm, and then he points it at his to try to get a funny picture. He points it at his friend's head, and the range master just like basically tackles him and kicks him out. It's like they don't mess around.
There's no nonsense.
There's no nonsense. No,
because all it takes is a split second.
Well, and if nothing else, they're liable. Like if you shoot your idiot friend in the face because you're a dumbass, guess what? The range is liable.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You should have pizza when you or I can't really say anyway.
But yeah, so my point being, and then you hear it all the time, and it's kind of played out, and it's not funny anymore. But you know, everybody refers to ARs as assault rifles, and it's like that's not what it stands for. Everybody knows that it's an Armalite rifle. It's a brand name. And they haven't clearly defined, legally speaking, they have not clearly defined what an assault rifle is. They have clearly defined what an assault weapon is. I don't particularly like the definition, but it is legally defined in legislation.
It's way too broad of a term for people to understand.
Let's say Jason says you shot a 357 and knocked myself out. I bet you did.
Well, I tell you what, you're like the for anyone above the age of probably I want to say 30. Well, I mean some young kids too, but what is it? Police Academy, I think 4 or 5. There's a little old lady shoot a 357, and it blows her all the way back.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes up to her, and she's like, "Oh, that's awesome."
An ex-boss of mine had a legit Colt 45 too.
Colt 45.
That's a pretty gun. I sound like a gun now when I talk about it, but there's no denying that's a pretty fucking gun.
He
had the Colt revolver.
I've seen 2 guns in my life in person.
You know what they called the Colt revolver?
Besides the ones drawn on me. Were you there?
No.
At the abandoned house?
No.
Okay. Anyway, well, I won't get into that. Yeah, it was an abandoned house, and I got guns drawn on me because they thought we were making meth, and I was like, "We're 14."
Well, you know what? Here, that's a legitimate concern, but I would still ask questions first and shoot last. But
indubitably. It's a good word. I love that word.
Anyways. You know what Colt referred to the 45 revolver when they first came out with it?
What?
They called it the Equalizer.
I like it.
Because that is legit, like. And that's another thing that the gun control crowd doesn't really talk about, is like, I don't care who you are, and as somebody who's practiced various martial arts, and I know legit badasses, but they will all tell you the same thing. The only true equalizer is a firearm.
Oh, absolutely.
It is the only true equalizer that exists. You can train, like I believe you me, I know guys and girls that can take out people much larger than them, but 3 of them?
That's a tough one.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean,
if everything goes right, it's possible. But if anything goes wrong.
Pro gun rights and Colt 45.
Hell yeah. You know what I'm talking about. I want to shoot one so bad. But honestly, I'm a little intimidated because I've seen them fired. I know what they... Ugh. It's a beast.
Man. Oh.
Well, Rick on The Walking Dead carries a Colt 45 revolver.
Is that what those are?
His gun with the white handle.
Okay.
The pearl handle.
I thought he had 2.
He ends up with 2, but his first sidearm is a...
Okay.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't the Equalizer. It was the Peacemaker. No, I think when it first came out, it was the Equalizer, but it became known as the Peacemaker when law enforcement started carrying them more often.
Well, I mean, when you're dead, you're at peace. So
Well, actually, you know what's funny? That's another misconception while we're talking about misconceptions. Even the chat has a delay.
always doing the dab. I'm too white for that.
Yeah, a very big hole is made with a Colt. With a Colt 40. That exit wound is no joke, but later. That's another common misconception is everybody thinks in the Old West everybody was just like shooting each other left, right, and center. There's actually an alarmingly low gun violence rate in the Old West. You know why? Or why I suspect why.
Because a lot of them carry.
Everybody had a fucking gun.
You don't say.
Well, not only that, not too many people traveled alone either.
Yeah.
You know, it made sense. Like there were robberies, sure, but man, you had to have balls to be to rob people in the Old West because I mean, like, there was a pretty good chance people were armed, and if they shot you in the middle of the desert, like nobody had to know. Like literally, nobody had to know.
We got what you meant, Jason. He corrected his hole.
Yeah. Wrong hole.
Wrong hole.
But So, but here's and this is the big one, and this is the one that's going to make some people uncomfortable, but it needs to be talked about. And pro Second Amendment people bring this up a lot, but they get shouted down. So I figure in a place where I can only get shouted down in comments, and I think most people watching right now will agree with me on this. So there's that famous clip of
Damn right.
when Piers Morgan had Ben Shapiro on in 2012, I think. It was shortly after Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Ben makes the point.
Was that when he said, how
dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
And not Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg, I think, is how you pronounce it. But anyway, how dare you?
How dare you?
I love that Ben Shapiro ad where he's like, you might remember me from being on Piers Morgan where I made him say, how dare you? And I didn't catch this until because I rewatched it today. He makes fun of his accent during the exchange.
Man, he's savage.
You know what? He used to be worse. I feel like he's gotten some control now, but that was back in his Breitbart days when he was
no nonsense.
He was an obnoxious little fuck, and I think he would agree with me.
And honestly, I think nowadays that's why he's being liked more.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was respected then, but he was not liked.
Well, and not only that, and I think he would agree. I think I've heard him say something to this effect, where like back then he was just a little asshole twerp who didn't really know any better.
And he had no sense of humor.
None. I much prefer Ben Shapiro that can laugh at himself.
Yeah.
He used to be way
nowadays,
too serious.
Like I think he got the surgery.
Oh, got the stick removed from his ass.
Okay, I was wondering if you're gonna get that.
But anyway, Ben makes the point. You know, he tells Piers. You know, it's like, okay, but so do you care? Do you not care about the kids that are getting killed left, right, and center in Chicago? Because a majority of those are perpetrated with handguns, which are also, for the most part, semi-automatic. Actually, I'm pretty sure they're all semi-automatic, which you would buy anymore.
I mean, technically.
I mean, I guess there might be somebody out there that has like a muzzle loading pistol, but actually, my dad had one. He had an old school like muzzle loading pistol.
Did he?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Never found out what happened to it though.
Got a comment. It says, "I'm just glad we have people like Ted Cruz out there until they conspire a scandal against him like Gates." Matt Gates, is there something going on with him?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, good old penis chin. I'm sorry. I just don't like. I just don't. There's something about Ted Cruz. He has a very punchable face, and it doesn't help him.
I don't dislike or like him. Like some of the stuff he says, I agree with.
I just can't.
Have you seen the latest tidbit? When he was literally talking live, and the reporter was like, "Sir, can you wear a mask?" He's like, "I'm vaccinated."
Yes, I saw that, and I was in a corner for that one, and I love at the end he's like, "You can move back if you want."
Oh yeah, and I was like, "That's the point of vaccine."
Well, but yeah, and you're gonna see some lunacy. I predicted. What
he said? He said Matt Gates got accused. I'm pretty sure you're speaking of Matt Gates, right? The congressman. Well, actually, is he still in Congress?
I believe so.
Okay. He said he was accused of sex trafficking a 17-year-old.
We'll see.
I effing highly doubt that.
Well, we'll see. That's
crazy.
just it. That warrants an investigation.
Ghislaine, she got charged with
Is she still alive?
yeah, I know, right? She's still alive.
Miraculously.
She made it longer than Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway, so she was just charged with trafficking a 14-year-old, maybe older.
On
14?
one count, maybe.
On one count. That's what
I was
she's
gonna
charged
say,
with. She is 100% charged right now with at least one thing.
Oh, there's a fuck ton more than that coming.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about guns. Really.
So Ben made the point to Pierce. He's like, okay, so do you not care about the kids that are dying in Chicago because of handguns and all that? So I got to thinking, because I'm a numbers guy and I want to see numbers, and I want to have a basis of comparison. Because you always hear about mass shootings, at least in the national sense. I'm pretty sure. So I use Chicago as the example. So I'm pretty sure in Chicago you hear more about this locally, but in terms of nationally, you just don't really hear about it as much unless you go looking for it. It's not really part of the national conversation. So,
agreed, Stoner Bros.
I have some numbers. So, as of March 22nd of this year, in the previous, from that day to the previous 365 days, there were 231 homicides that were perpetrated with handguns in the city of Chicago. Now, these are confirmed. There are some that are unknown, but I wanted to take the lowest possible number. So we know these were perpetrated homicides that used firearms. 231. Remember that number. That number outscores, and the chart that I used, just to make myself clear, the stats that I got define a mass shooting as 10 or more fatalities. So let's keep that in mind. I don't think that's the national standard definition, but my source that I found and used and checked the numbers on defines a mass shooting as 10 or more fatalities. And I want to preface with none of this should happen. None of it. Not the killing, not the killing in Chicago, or not the killings in Chicago, none of it. But we're comparing these numbers so that we can get the conversation in the right spot. So, in the past 365 days, as of March 22nd, in the city of Chicago, there were more gun homicides than the top 10 previous mass shootings dating from 2021 to 2016. And I actually had 4 left over before I got to 11. And these include, and for the sake of being transparent, 2021, the Boulder, Colorado shooting. There were 10 fatalities. The perpetrating weapons were a semi-automatic rifle modified pistol. So basically he bought a pistol and then basically got a kit and turned it into a rifle. And it took me a minute to figure out what they meant by that. The perpetrator in this case was known to the FBI with a history of mental illness and a misdemeanor assault charge. And they did not do anything. He legally purchases firearms, but he shouldn't have been able to because of this history. The FBI did nothing. Which this brings up a problem of enforcement, not legislation. The laws exist, they were not enforced. So this is the case I often make. You don't need new laws necessarily, you need enforcement of the ones that are already on the books. Now I do agree with universal background checks and extending those. So I agree with all that. But let's try enforcing what we have first, I guess is what I'm getting at. And then see how that works. Number 2, I don't know. Do you guys want me to go through all these, or do you trust my numbers?
I trust you.
I mean, I've got them written down here. But
what I think needs to happen with all these laws and whatnot, it's not necessarily that, enforcement, but, what was I going with that?
I'll give you the skinny. So that also includes the El Paso one from 2019, the Virginia Beach, Virginia 2019, Parkland, Florida 2018, Thousand Oaks, California 2018, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 2018. There were a lot in 2018. Santa Fe, Texas 2018. This does include the Vegas shooting, which had by far the most fatalities at 58. That's just insane. 2017 Sutherland Springs, Texas, and what was the club in Orlando? Pulse. That includes the Pulse nightclub.
Is that the gay club?
Yeah.
Sorry, homosexual club, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it was a gay club. I mean, the guy who opened fire in it was a
Not sure what's
freaking
PC anymore.
ISIS supporter.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, like this is well known. So yeah. So looking at that, I don't know of too many people that are calling for the ban on handguns. Now, granted, a lot of the mass shootings, yes, there were semi-automatic rifles involved. And yes, you can make a case. Maybe the numbers would have gone down. Probably not.
I mean,
but here's
the fire rate pretty much the same from a handgun to a AR-15?
Well, the buy rate maybe, but the fire rate, yes. But here's the thing. Speaking as somebody, now again, I haven't shot a handgun for comparison. I've been told. But I can tell you one thing, a freaking AR is super easy to shoot.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous how easy.
They rip people apart.
Yeah, like legit. Like we literally...
But they are also, I mean, what's the AR meant for? Like, I figured you might know this, so... Obviously it's for shooting.
I mean, technically it's a sporting weapon. But it's made in the style of a military style weapon. It is not one, but it's made in that style.
So for game hunting as well.
Well, no,
as
not game hunting.
Home defense.
It's basically a home defense gun and a sport shooting gun. And by sport shooting, I mean like target shooting.
Right.
I mean, because Frank, I know people that hunt with ARs, but they're overkill.
Oh yeah.
Like you do not need an AR. I think those people are ridiculous. At least the ones that I know, because I mean, a massive overkill.
And ARs, they're not cheap at all, are they?
They're not terrible. I mean, they probably are now, but
anyone in the comments know how much an AR is?
I don't think they're unreasonable, because again, they're a damn good gun. And I've heard Dan Crenshaw himself say, you know, like if he was going to buy his grandmother a gun for home defense, he would buy her an AR-15 or an AR in some capacity.
I wonder how the recoil is on. I want to shoot one.
It's virtually non-existent. I know. That's why, like, it's
seemingly such a big gun, though.
It's super easy to shoot. I've shot an AR-10 and AR-15, and the AR-15 felt like nothing.
Oh, my phone died. I can't read comments from all the way back here. This fuck Biden. He's not right. Boy, you got it hard for Biden, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I don't much care for the dude either, but he's the president. What can you do?
Shows how they're using false claims in the media to convict and cancel. I mean, yeah, to a point.
I was trying to get that last one. I got those and I responded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got that. Did he delete it? It's not popping up here, but look, it's on there. It's weird.
That's weird.
It's his word.
I got all his other stuff.
There's voices in my headphone. that was the funniest thing ever. Anyway.
That was pretty good. So I guess my point being is that, like, if you look at those numbers, it's like, but extrapolate that. You've got from 2016 to 2021, that's years in comparing it to 1 year in Chicago. And that's after they've had a significant drop in violent crime. Like, I think it dropped like 13%.
In Chicago?
From the previous year, yeah, in Chicago.
Not surprising. Chicago's really bad.
Yeah. There are certainly bad areas.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I always try to say it's like everybody's always wanting to, control this or that. I'm like, I mean, we have a people problem. It's like.
Well, in Chicago specifically, you probably have more of a drug problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. You look at most of these deaths, and it's like, are all of them just like innocent people being killed, or is it like?
Actually, I looked at the list because the website was actually really good. It was the Chicago Tribune had an article on it, and they had all the pertinent information. Mm-hmm. And I didn't look at everyone, but I skimmed. A lot of these people were older, so it made me think it might have been collateral.
Oh yeah, they were aiming for somebody else.
Yeah, and they probably hit some, because a lot of people. I was expecting to see a lot more young people.
That's like the young toddlers, 2 and 3 and 4 or 5-year-olds. They're getting killed.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys.
Well, and then here's the other side of the equation. So a lot of those, I'm obviously not a lot of these mass shootings, but a lot of the like crime-related gun deaths use either illegally acquired guns. Ghost guns are pretty common. You know, guns where they scratch the
Scratch
serial.
on the serial.
Well, ghost guns are actually illegally manufactured and they have fake serial numbers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's big money. But and then others have guns that were legit, but then obviously they were stolen or sold or whatever illegally, and then they scratch the serial numbers off so they're harder to trace. But you know, basically a lot of criminal activity, like if a criminal uses a legally purchased firearm, they are not very smart, and they are going to get caught.
That's just, that would be the funniest thing ever.
Oh, it happens.
Like Cheddar Bob from 8 Mile.
I do got a friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun.
I am surprised you've seen that movie, and I'm not.
Dude, I
trying to
love
say-
8 Mile.
I'm not trying to say you're uncultured or anything like that.
Dude, I love 8 Mile.
Never in a million years would I think you've seen 8 Mile.
Dude, I love 8 Mile.
It's a damn good movie.
You everybody from the 313.
Oh shit!
Fucking hands up and follow me. It's good.
Notice how this man did not have his hands up.
This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence.
Every time I see that damn Falcon guy, I'm always like,
Oh my
That's
god,
not
that
Falcon,
is
that's
Anthony.
Clarence.
That is Anthony Mackie.
yeah, it's wild, dude. That's like
Oh man, I can't even look at that anymore.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. You know how he was in Black Panther.
Yeah.
And then the first movie I saw him in was Chronicle.
I don't think I saw Chronicle.
Oh my word, that's a good movie. It's like it's a first person movie, but the thing is, like, these kids end up getting
I remember.
powers.
I remember seeing.
Oh, it's-
yeah,
oh,
I remember
it's-
seeing the trailer for that.
That movie sent me on a first person like movie looking for things. And have you seen Project Almanac?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, that is a fantastic. I'm not. You know,
Speaking of movies, got to figure out when I'm gonna go, but I'm totally gonna go see King Kong versus Godzilla
I'm
in
down.
the theater. Let's do it.
I'm down.
And then we're gonna do a special.
Review.
And we're going to do a special episode for the new Mortal Kombat movie. We got to figure out when we're going to see it, but we are totally seeing that
Yeah,
shit.
so when that comes out, get over here.
It looks so good.
That was terrible.
It looks so good.
Absolutely.
I loved our text exchange was so funny because what I told him, I said we got to go see it in the theater. Or I think you said it's like, oh, it's going to be on HBO Max. I'm like, it's in the theater too, so we got to go see it in the theater.
Oh no, because the thing is, I didn't know it was going to come to the theater. I thought it was going to be a direct release, and I was like, no, I was excited still.
Well,
I was
no,
like,
but the funny part of the conversation was I said, yeah, but I'm a theater snob, so it's AMC or nothing. And what did you say?
I
So I'm
said,
like-
yeah, AMC, bitch, because I own stock.
He was like AMC, bitch.
I was like, damn right, we're going to AMC.
And then
No,
I was
that's not
literally like, and then I was like, this is why we're friends. Because I'm a total theater snob.
Oh, I love going. Me and my wife, we had the movie pass. That was the most greatest thing ever until they ran out of money.
I like my A-list. You know what's funny? When I signed up
No,
for movie,
this was before A-list.
yeah, I know, I had it
It created A-list, so you're welcome.
pretty much. Yeah, Movie Pass, while it died, it did create that sort of program
I think it's still around, but it's like 2
Oh,
movies
I'm-
a week or something like that. It's
for
it's
Movie
nothing.
Pass.
Yeah.
Oh, it was what's really funny is I signed up for that knowing full well it was a limited time thing because I'm like, there's no way they're making money.
I literally went every day and watched a movie because I could.
Literally.
It
And,
started
like-
out like $30 a month.
And what did it get down to? It got down
10.
ridiculous. Yeah, I got down to
$10 a month.
10.
And I was like, $20. I was like, I spend that when I go one time.
Well, that's why I justified A-list, AMC A-list, which is worth every penny. I highly recommend it. When they start coming
On
out
top
with
of
new
that,
movies.
You can do it on the phone, and you can get your seats.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's not that busy now. Someone commented. Jason Kata. Can you...
Can you dig it? Little Warriors reference.
I can't read it.
I'm going to read it. Can you see this? I can now. Team Kong, what up?
Team Kong. What does Stoner Bros say?
I think I'm going to have to check that movie out.
Oh, yeah.
Team Godzilla, bro.
Yeah, Team
G-
Godzilla.
g-
Team Godzilla for sure.
Godzilla has radioactive fire breath.
Listen, dude. I'm just gonna say this. Harambe didn't make it.
Exactly.
If he didn't make it. Just saying.
And okay, here's another reason. Kong got taken out by one plane. I almost said tooken.
He almost got taken out while one plane.
Kong got taken out by one plane. You know how many planes Godzilla smashed like they were flies?
A lot.
They needed to invent a whole new weapon that didn't even exist yet to take out Godzilla, and it didn't work.
Net. I don't know what I was
You think Kong could stand up to a nuke? Makes Godzilla stronger.
just saying.
Just saying.
And that's how Godzilla was created in the first place.
Yeah, that's why it makes him stronger.
Oh, he's like the Hulk.
It'll soak up, like Superman. It'll soak up, his cells will absorb its radiation. And he will become a god. I liked Russell Crowe as Jor-El.
Yeah.
I dug it.
No, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Scene was too long, but I dug it overall.
Yeah. That whole freaking movie was way too long. The Snyder version.
Oh, I was talking about Man of Steel, but yeah.
Oh, Man of Steel. I've been meaning to rewatch that because I love that movie.
I like it, but every time I watch it, I start to have more problems with it. So I feel like I should stop.
You just gotta enjoy the movie.
I do enjoy the movie, but
This is a segment where have we covered everything?
yeah, I was just say
Okay.
we're gonna wrap this up because we're going on
No, I was
tangents here.
just gonna
But
say this is a segment.
I'm
where
sorry,
We,
if
we've already
if
discussed.
you're strong enough to snap Zod's neck like it's tissue paper,
Right.
why don't you just move his face? And why do those idiots? Okay. And I got another bone to pick with those idiots that Zod's trying to fry. Why aren't they moving? They can go. There's plenty of room. They can move. Soups has got it. He's got it under control.
Well, because they're probably like, man, maybe if I move, he's gonna go this way or that way, you know. So I should just stand still. Maybe Superman's gonna help me.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a problem in a lot of Zack Snyder's movies. It's like they just don't make sense. Like, why didn't Darkseid just boom tube to Earth immediately?
You'll never know.
He can do it. He can do it. It's within his capability to do it.
Why didn't Superman just shoot little people out of his hand? Just kidding.
I mean, and literally, Darkseid's just like, the thing I've been searching. And apparently, and I didn't realize this when we did the review, but like, apparently he forgot the planet where he got his ass handed to him.
All right.
We got to wrap it
No,
up.
so things coming up
Oh,
to
yeah.
look for. Now, we to be announced. Gun range.
Gun range. Yep.
Gun range. Movie reviews. You know,
When my knee is healed, we'll do some.
we'll do some
Which I'm almost there.
DDP yoga.
DDP yoga, and I want to do some weights too.
I feel like
Together.
I'm definitely. We're gonna be coming out with some. He's gonna be trying some recipes that I have
Yeah, I am.
through a YouTuber I subscribe to and have his cookbook. Remington James. He has some awesome recipes.
I'm gonna get better about producing stuff on my channel too. It's just everything just hit at once, so I apologize. We're gonna come out with more stuff like the 5 Things You Probably Didn't Know series, some more of my What Is videos, stuff like that. There's also the Down the Middle podcast, which if you didn't see the latest episode, I lost the All Events Welcome Championship.
I saw that over a coin toss. He's just like flip. He's like, "Fuck, you got heads."
He called it. Called it in the air.
It's all right. You know what? I'm just gonna go to his house and beat him up and take it.
Well,
Watching Ben.
What's funny about that is I literally realized right when we were about to do the podcast, I'm like, oh shit, this is the last day I have. Like, you have to defend the belt at least once every calendar month, and it had been a month.
Well, see, the thing is, I actually is today the last day?
Mm-mm.
That was.
Technically, I was a day over.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say because I was actually we were. It didn't come, but I've got original Super Smash Brothers coming from Super Nintendo. Or no, I'm sorry, not Super Nintendo. Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64.
And I was gonna challenge you there.
Well,
Also, have Mario Kart coming.
I propose, and I'm gonna go ahead and say
Ben, this includes you,
Yes.
fuckface.
Yes. Let's schedule an Uno game.
Oh, I'm down.
And this is an invitational. So we'll schedule a big game. Because what I
Should
really
we do
don't.
Uno or should we do Cards Against Humanity?
I kind of want to do Uno.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm cool with whatever.
We'll do an annual Cards Against Humanity game at the very least.
All right.
But Ben, you got to show up or you forfeit.
You heard it.
We'll work around your schedule. We'll make it happen.
Yes.
You got to work around the champ schedule.
If we should call you that.
But congratulations, Ben. You can call a coin flip with the best of them.
Next one is gonna be Rochambeau. And I'm telling you what.
I don't want to be the champion for Rochambeau.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean the kicking in the nuts game. I'm talking the actual, just hand game. Rock paper scissors.
I was to say that I'm not familiar with that hand game. I don't want to be the champion for that one either.
This is definitely gonna be a clip. Anyway, all I'm saying
is this like an endurance test?
Listen, all I'm saying is we're getting ready to play, but I have this uncanny ability to win, and I'm not shitting you.
With Super Smash Brothers?
No.
Or Rochambeau?
Rochambeau. Do you do 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3 shoot?
Whatever, dealer's choice.
All right.
Just tell me ahead of time.
1, 2, 3 shoot.
1, 2, 3 shoot.
All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3 shoot.
What the fuck? Okay.
1, 2, 3 shoot. 1, 2, 3 shoot. Oh, you got me. See, I have.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3 shoot.
What's that? Paper. I know. You're good. You're good.
Just saying.
Because I thought I knew where you were going, but you didn't go there.
See, it's all up here.
That'll be fun because I usually win. I usually
rock,
win.
paper, scissors?
Yeah.
I'm very good at it. I've played a lot of games of skate and skateboard, so I've lost more of those, and I've won more Rochambeaus, and I've lost more games of skate. Anyway, so that's a good.
It's a good stopping point. We'll wrap it up.
All right, that was a fun one.
That was a fun one. Yeah.
Alrighty, people. Goodbye. Good night.
And good night.
I'm Walter Cronkite.
Kenny Omega reference for the wrestling fans.